Hello students, a very good morning to all. So in continuation to our first unit, that is atomic structure, in today's video we'll be discussing about the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, electronic configuration of the elements and ions. So let's get started. First we'll take up the topic, that is electronic configuration of elements. So for the electronic configuration of elements, in the last lecture we discussed about the Aufbau's principle, which is meant for multi-electron system, which decides about the energy level of different orbitals for multi-electron systems. So now we know this sequence, that how to fill electrons with increasing atomic number, with increasing number of electrons in any atom. Let's start with the first element of the periodic table with atomic number 1, that is hydrogen. So this we have already discussed, that we represent orbital with square or circle within which we fill electrons, and based upon Pauli's exclusion principle, if 2 electrons are to be filled in a single orbital, then their spin should be opposite, and we represent the opposite spin with upper pointing arrow and the second one with lower pointing arrow. So this is the electronic configuration for hydrogen, that is 1s1, as 1s is the first foremost orbital of lowest energy. So here first electron will go into the 1s orbital. Their spin can be, this arrow can be upward pointing or lower pointing, but for convention we take first arrow to be upward pointing, and then we take next arrow as downward pointing if we want to fill the second electron. So for hydrogen atom, as there is only one electron, so it will go into the 1s orbital, that is the lowest energy orbital. So it will be represented as this. Next is helium, for which electronic configuration is 1s2. Here both the electrons will occupy 1s orbital, where both the electrons will be paired up and with opposite spin. As energy level of 2s orbital is different, it is of higher energy, so both the electrons will occupy the 1s orbital for helium. Next is lithium with atomic number 3. Configuration is 1s2, 2s1. Third electron will occupy the next energy level, that is 2s orbital. For beryllium, atomic number is 4. Electronic configuration is going to be 1s2, 2s2, 2 in 1s orbital and 2 in 2s orbital. Next we have boron. The fifth electron will go into the first 2p orbital, that is 2px. It can be any 2px, 2py or 2pz. These are the three 2p orbitals which are at the same energy level. These are at the same energy level. So the single electron, the fifth electron of boron, can occupy any of these orbitals, but by convention we write it in the first orbital of 2p, that is 2px. Next is the case of carbon. So for carbon, now we want to put 2 electrons into the 2p orbital. We have the atomic number as 6. So there are 6 electrons, 2 in 1s, 2 in 2s and 2 in 2p. Now we have paired 2 electrons in 1s orbital, 2 electrons in 2p orbital. Now, 2s orbital. Now we have the option, now we want to know that how we are going to fill this 2p orbital. There are 3 options, that these electrons can occupy 2 different orbitals of the 2p as they are of same energy. So 2 different electrons will occupy 2 different orbitals. Also they can pair up. Also they can occupy 2 different orbitals of the 2p level with opposite spin. What is the right electronic configuration? Now we want to know this. So for this, to clear out this confusion, there was a scientist named Friedrich Hund. He gave rules. His rule was Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity for the electronic configuration of elements. So in total he gave 3 rules. Two other rules were meant for the group theory, meant for the term symbols, which we'll be studying in the group theory part, which is not in your syllabus right now, or which are not of your concern right now. So we'll just do the most important rule, which is solely called as Hund's rule of ignoring the other two rules. This rule is called as Hund's rule, and the complete name is Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. So according to this rule, for the ground state of an element, the lowest energy state would be given by the configuration with maximum spin multiplicity. With maximum spin multiplicity means the orbitals which are at the same energy level. If we cannot pair the electrons in these orbitals, we'll have to put the electrons in such a way that the multiplicity remains, the electrons fill these orbitals in the form of parallel spins, not as paired up. So this is how we represent parallel spin. This is the first orbital, this is the second orbital. So they cannot be present as opposite spin, but they will occupy as parallel spin this way. So this is the first orbital, and this is the second orbital. So two electrons and in two orbitals, two p orbitals, and third p orbital is going to be empty. So this is how electrons are filled in case of carbon. So based upon this rule, the first configuration which is shown here with the two electrons in 2p orbitals with parallel spin is correct. Also, we can say that electron pairing will only take place in orbitals of same energy until each orbital is singly filled with parallel spin. This we'll get to know when for nitrogen or oxygen. Next element is nitrogen with atomic number 7. Now it has 3 electrons in 2p orbitals. So these 3 electrons will occupy all the 2p orbitals singly with parallel spin. Next is oxygen. So now the second definition is valid, that pairing will only take place when all the 3 orbitals or all the orbitals of equal energy are first filled singly with parallel spin. Then after that pairing will take place. So here 8th electron which we are adding for oxygen with the atomic number of 8 pairing will start from the 8th electron. So here is the pairing. Next is fluorine. Fluorine will occupy the second orbital out of the 2p orbital, and this is the case of second pairing. And for neon, all the 2p orbitals will be filled with 2 electrons each. That is the maximum capacity of p orbital. 6 electrons can be occupied. The formula for the maximum capacity of each subshell we have already discussed, that S can have just 2 electrons, p orbitals can have maximum of 6 electrons. As there are 3 orbitals associated, one orbital can occupy at the maximum 2 electrons. So based upon that, p orbital and all the 3 p orbitals will occupy total of 6 electrons. D orbitals, there are 5 d orbitals of same energy, that means total of 10 electrons can be accommodated there. There are 7 orbitals for f orbitals which are having same energy. So 14 electrons is the maximum capacity for f orbitals which are having same energy. So here for neon, the 2s and 2p orbitals, that means second shell is completely filled. The configuration is 1s2, 2s2 and 2p6. First shell was complete at helium. This is shown here, 1s2, here first shell, that is 1s orbital, which is having just one orbital, is completely filled with helium. After that, we started filling the second shell, starting from lithium, then up to neon. The second shell was also completely filled. Now, the next atomic number is given to sodium, symbol is Na. Electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. So here we have started filling the third shell, that is 3s orbital of the third shell. So these are written in the form of energy level for the multi-electron system. Also, we can write this configuration as it is difficult as we'll move further. We are not required to write all the orbitals with the filling of electrons. We can show the most recent noble gas with just before the configuration, which is filled, that is the neon which is coming just before sodium, so we can write it as neon and 3s1. So this represents the electronic configuration of sodium. Further, magnesium, so magnesium can be represented as neon 3s2 3p, 3s2 here we have shown, and for aluminium it is going to be neon 3s2 3p1. With aluminium we have started filling the 3p subshell and will be done with 3p subshell, or we can say the third shell is going to be not the third shell, the 3s and 3p orbitals will be completely filled with argon, which is the next noble gas. So for the next element with atomic number 19 for potassium, we are going to fill the next energy level. So here the next energy level according to the Aufbau principle is 4s1, not 3d. So here electron will be filled in 4s orbital first prior to 3d. Further, atomic number is for calcium, that is 20, which is having configuration of argon 4s2, scandium. Then for scandium we'll start with the filling of 3d1 after 4s2, as 4s is having lesser energy. This we have already discussed in the prior video, in the earlier video. Next we have vanadium. Next we have titanium. Here one thing is needed to be kept in mind, that while writing the electronic configuration here, while filling we are taking, we know that energy of the 4s is less than 3d. So it is filled first in comparison to 3d orbitals. But while writing the electronic configuration, we need to write the lower n value first. So we'll write it as 3d first and then 4s. So this is not the correct way of writing the electronic configuration for the orbitals having 3d and 3s configuration. 3s orbitals where filling of 3d and 3d and 4s orbital is discussed. So we'll have to write it as 3d. So just say we are discussing for 3d 5 4s1. This is some configuration. So we'll write 3d first, then 4s is written when there are electrons present in both the orbitals. So next is titanium, which will have the configuration of 4s2 3d3. So here 3d should be written first and then 4s should come. Next we have chromium. This is having an exceptional configuration. This is the expected configuration for the chromium, that is 4s2 3d4. As total of 24 electrons are there. Argon is 18, then 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 and 24. But actually what happens is one of the electrons from 4s orbital jumps to the 3d orbital and the configuration becomes 4s1 3d5. The reason for this was not explained based upon the Aufbau principle, but this happens. This is the exceptional electronic configuration for chromium. The driving force is extra stability. Now this extra stability is achieved based upon what? This we'll be discussing later. But here the configuration is this, not this. This is the expected configuration where 4s, 2 and 3d4. 4 electrons are present in 3d and 2 electrons are present in 4s orbital. But actually 1 electron is present in 4s and 5 electrons are there in 3d orbitals. So this is how we write the electronic configuration for 3d and 4s, that we write the lower n value first. So based upon that we'll write 3d5 first, then 4s1. Next we have manganese, where the atomic number is 25. The configuration is going to be 3d5 4s2. So 4s1 and 3d5 configuration was just meant for chromium. Next exception will meet at copper, where again the expected configuration is 3d9, which is coming after nickel. The electronic configuration of nickel is 3d8 4s2, 8 electrons in d orbitals and 2 electrons in 4s. Next should be 3d9 4s2. But actually what happens is one of the electron from the 4s subshell jumps to 3d subshell and we get the configuration of 3d10 and 4s1. The reason is again the same, but we'll discuss it bit later. Next is zinc, which is having completely filled the orbitals and 4s2. So electronic configuration is argon, represented as argon 3d10 4s2 with total of 30 electrons. Next, in the next 6 elements are with atomic number 31 to 36, where 4p orbitals will be filled in the sequence of 4p1, 4p2, 4p3, 4p4, 4p5 and 4p6. So here comes the next noble gas, that is krypton. So these are the noble gases: neon, argon, krypton, xenon with atomic number 54 and radon with atomic number 86. In the F block elements, the blocks and different the discussion about the periodic table, that how elements are divided in the periodic table, will be discussing in the next chapter, that is periodicity. In the F orbitals, in the F block, there are two series of elements present, that is lanthanide series and the actinide series. Lanthanum is the D block element, which is having atomic number of 57, and actinium is having atomic number of 89. The elements coming after lanthanum, that is 58 to 71, these are 14 elements where 4f subshell is filled with 14 electrons, and after actinium, the atomic numbers 90 to 103 are not counted in D block elements, so they are placed separately based upon their properties in the F block elements just below the they are part of the 60 and 70, they are part of the 6th and 7th period, but they are placed just below the 6th and the 7th period in two separate rows, and or we can say 14 different groups, 14 different small groups are made of these are made up of 14 different groups. So these are present as lanthanides and actinides. These are there are lot many exceptions present in the electronic configuration of D and F block elements, but up to atomic number 30 there are just two exceptions in the electronic configuration, that is with chromium and with copper, where the actual configuration is exactly half filled and exactly fully filled orbitals. We'll be discussing this in a bit. So the elements beyond the atomic number of 103, that is 104 to 112, involve the filling of 60 subshells, and those from 113 to 118 involve the filling of 7p. These are the last subshells where electrons are known to be present. So 7p is the last subshell where electrons are known to be present. With the filling, there are total of 118 elements in the periodic table. The details of the periodic table will be discussing in the next chapter, that is periodicity, in the next unit. Now we'll come to the electronic configuration of ions. For the electronic configuration of ions, actually the electronic configuration of ions is done in a similar way as neutral atoms. For anions, the electrons equal to the number of charge present on the anion are added to the next higher orbital in sequence as far as the energy is concerned. Let us discuss this with an example. This is the chlorine with atomic number 17. So this is the electronic configuration, that is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Here we can write it as neon, 3s2, 3p5 is the configuration, or we can write it as 3p orbitals separately. We can write that is 3px2, 3py2 and 3pz1. So for chlorine negative, total of 18 electrons are going to be there. So the next electron which we have added, which this anion has gained, will go to the last vacant shell, that is 3p z orbital, 3p subshell, the 3pz orbital of the 3p subshell. Next example is for sulfur. Here atomic number is 16. It is having electronic configuration of 3p4. Outer electronic configuration is 3p4. So S2 negative, it has gained 2 electrons. So total number of electrons with this are 18. Electronic configuration now becomes, this is neon, then 3s2, 3p6. So it has attained the electronic configuration same as argon. Both of these anions are having the electronic configuration similar to argon, which is the next noble gas to neon. Now for cations, the electrons equal to the charge are removed from the neutral atoms. Let us see with an example. Here this is magnesium. This is having 12 electrons, that means neon and 3s2. So it will lose 2 electrons and become magnesium 2 positive charge will be there. So after losing 2 electrons, the electrons left behind are number 10. So electronic configuration will be similar to that of neon, that is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, and it will lose 2 electrons present in 3s subshell. Next are the aluminium. Next is the aluminium with atomic number 13. It has 3 electrons in the valence shell, so it will lose 3 electrons and become aluminium 3 positive, and now it will be left with 10 electrons, so it will also attain the configuration similar to neon. Now for exceptions for cation is there where energy of 4s is less than 3d. As we all know that 4s is filled first, then prior to 3d, it is filled prior to 3d as far as energy is concerned. So while the formation of cations, we have to remove the electrons. But while removing the electrons, energy is not considered. The energy thing is not considered, but what is actually considered is the electron is whenever there is comparable, whenever the energies are comparable, that is we know that energies for 4s and 3d are comparable. So electron will be removed first from the higher n valued subshell, that is electrons will be removed first from the 4s. So 4s orbital is also filled first and is also emptied first while the formation of cations. Let us see how it happens. This is zinc with atomic number 30. It is having electronic configuration of argon 3d10 and 4s2. So for the formation of zinc 2 positive, it needs to be 2 electrons are required to be removed. So here 4s orbital is having lesser energy in comparison to 3d orbital. This we have already discussed based upon Bohr-Bury rule, n plus L rule, or we can say. So it should be present more towards the nucleus in comparison to this. So it must feel more nuclear full. So while emptying the orbital, or we can say while removing the electrons, we should remove electrons from the 3d subshell, which is filled in the end. But in actual, what happens is the higher valued n is emptied first. The electrons which are taken out for the formation of zinc 2 positive and are taken from 4s orbital rather than 3d orbital. Similar is the case while for the formation of iron 2 positive and iron 3 positive. Here 4s orbital is emptied first, then where 2 electrons are required to be removed, and for the third electron we shift to 3d subshell where 6 electrons were earlier there for iron, and after the removal of total of 3 electrons, now the configuration has become argon 3d5. Now let us discuss the limitations of Auerbach's principle. So first limitation is it has exceptional electronic configurations of atoms involving ns and n-1d subshells for which exact explanation was not given by was not discussed by the Bohr, who gave the Auerbach principle, or by the Schrodinger, who gave the system for the multi-electron system. But these were later explained by different scientists. Let us see the electronic configurations first. The electronic configuration of chromium and copper we have already discussed. The other exceptions in the D block elements are molybdenum, which is having atomic number of 42. Here electronic configuration which is expected after krypton. Krypton is a noble gas with atomic number of 36. So it should have electronic configuration of 4d4 and 5s2 based upon the sequence which we followed while filling the electrons for manganese. But it also has the while filling the electronic configuration for chromium actually. In actual what happens is one of the 5s or electron shifts to 4d orbital and it becomes 4d5. Same as the case with silver, which the same thing is happening. We discussed for copper, so the same thing same thing happens for silver, that it becomes 4d 10 and 5s 1. Here it should be 10. This is a mistake, so it should be 10 in place of 9. For gold, it is 4f8, 5d and 6s2. So here the electronic configuration actually becomes 4f7, 5d1 and 6s2. So one of the electrons from the f orbital shifts to the 5d orbital. Next is gadolinium, where one of the electrons from 6s orbital shifts to the 5d orbitals. So it can be seen that deviation is there whenever there are, as the maximum capacity of d orbitals is 10 electrons and exactly half filled configuration will be at d5, and for f orbitals total fully filled orbitals is 14 for f orbitals and exactly half filled would be 7. So there is extra stability associated with these fully filled and half filled configurations. So to attain this extra stability, there occurs a deviation from the expected configuration based upon the Aufbau principle. So the actual configuration is based upon the driving force given by the extra stability of exactly half filled and fully filled orbitals. So this is the driving force. Now, why this extra stability is there, we'll be discussing. There are two reasons for that. First is symmetry of orbitals and next is exchange energy. Let us see what do we mean by symmetry of orbitals. So as we all know that symmetry leads to stability. Whenever something is symmetrical, that means we say that it is extra stable in comparison to the other thing which is unsymmetrical. So if by shifting one electron from one of the orbitals which are having comparable energy, say let us take the example of 3d and 4s orbitals. This we have already discussed. We are taking the example of chromium. This we have already discussed that 3d and 4s orbitals are having comparable energy. So now, if we shift one of the electrons from here to here, this is the actual case. This configuration is much more symmetrical as each orbital in the 3D subshell and in the 4s orbital are singly occupied. So this is symmetrical in comparison to this. So extra stability is associated with this configuration based upon this. So this is all about symmetry. Next reason for the extra stability is exchange energy. Whenever electrons exchange their position with the same orbitals with the electrons exchange themselves within the same orbitals of same energy, what happens is there occurs a release of energy and that configuration becomes extra stable. Whenever something releases energy, that means it is gaining stability. So based upon that, when this is the expected configuration for chromium and this is the actual configuration. So here this electron, we're talking about the first electron, this electron can undergo 3 exchanges. That means it can exchange its position, which is not going to change anything, with 3 other electrons present in the present at the same energy level in the 3D orbitals. So it can undergo 3 exchanges. But in case of actual configuration, this electron can undergo 4 exchanges. So here number of exchanges are more in comparison to this. So based upon these, more the number of exchanges, more the energy will be released and more is the stability which will be acquired by this exceptional electronic configuration. So based upon these two things, that is symmetry and exchange energy, which is released based upon the number of exchanges which has increased based upon the deviation from the electronic configuration. This is the driving force for the deviation from the electronic configuration. Next, we were discussing the limitations of Aufbau's principle. In between, we have explained these the reason for these exceptional electronic configurations. So first limitation was we discussed about the ns and n-1d subshells, that why electrons occupy ns subshell prior to nd subshell, n-1d subshell. Next is the electronic configuration of lanthanides and actinides. There are many irregularities in the electronic configurations of S-block elements. These we are not discussing here. The electronic configuration of S-block elements, this is not in your, as far as your syllabus is concerned, this is not in your syllabus, but just for your knowledge, that according to Aufbau's principle, in case of S-block elements, energy of 4s orbital is less than 5d orbitals. But for lanthanum, which is a d-block element, after which all the lanthanides come, the electrons first go to the 5d orbital. The reason for this was not explained, and same is the case with actinium, which is having atomic number 89. The first electron occupies the 60 subshell for actinium. The last electron occupies the 60 subshell, while 5s having less energy. So this reason why this 5d and 6d are filled prior to 4f and 5s was not explained based upon the Aufbau's principle. Third limitation is there exist many anomalous electronic configurations in case of d-block and s-block elements, which cannot be explained based upon the preference for fully filled and exactly half-filled. Many configurations were explained based upon the fully filled and exactly half-filled preference subshells, but there were many configurations which were not explained based upon these rules. There are many number of factors which are responsible for these anomalous configurations. So these are the combined effect of different factors such as nuclear electron attractions, inter-electronic repulsions, shielding of one electron by the other, exchange forces, and binding energies. So there are different reasons which were not considered by Aufbau's principle. Next limitation is the electronic configuration of cations or atoms upon ionization. So whenever this point we have already discussed that whenever we ionize something, ionize a d-block element, the electrons are first taken out from the 4s subshell instead of 3d subshell, whose energy is higher in comparison to the 4s subshell, which is filled later in comparison to the 4s subshell. So these were the limitations of the Aufbau principle. Despite having so many limitations, the Aufbau principle is widely acceptable and it has solved the problem of electronic configuration to a great extent. So it is widely acceptable. So next we are left with the Slater's rule, which we'll be discussing in the next lecture. These are the values of some constants which are very important for the point of view of the first few videos which we have covered, that is atomic structure. We have done the orbital part, we have done the quantum part where Schrödinger wave equation has been discussed. So these are the values of constant which you are to memorize to solve the numericals or to attempt the theoretical part. So these are the values. These are the energy values associated. These are some relationships, some conversion formulas. So these are to be memorized for solving the numerical problems. So in the next video, we'll be discussing about this Slater's rule, and after that, we'll be having 2 lectures for the discussion of numericals based upon different questions and numericals based upon the first unit, that is atomic structure. So that is it for this video. That is it for this lecture. Thank you so much and have a good rest of the day.